All right, welcome back. Time for game number two, and without further ado, because we all want to see it, let's dive back onto the layout. And sadly, Yumi had to leave, so we all are left with the wonderful voice of Captain Green 7. Take it away. You good?
Yeah, did you do it?
Yeah,
Discord.
I did. Yeah, Discord is just not playing along today, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So welcome back. This is game 2 of race between johntabin and Ugondis, second quest. Ugondis taking the first one, with John having a really good run too, except for that level 4. But expecting another close one between these two racers. And they're going to be getting started here pretty soon. So like before, both racers are going to be headed towards level 1 first, and hoping to get the lucky bomb drop, 1 to 2 chances in level 1. And setting up their kills on the way here so that they're entering on a count that gives them both chances at the bomb. Don also is going to be hoping to get 10 rupees leaving level 1 so that he's good to go to play money making game later on in order to get the blue ring. Level 1 not difficult in combat at all, it's just difficult in trying to keep your resources up. So here's Ugondis going for his bombs. Poor Ugondis is 0 for 4. No luck in the first race, no luck in this race either. Bombs are 41% chance there, so do your 0.59 to the fourth and you have the odds of that. johntabin unfortunately does take a death in there, but will still have his chance at bombs. I'm just having to play it careful here, because those boomerangs do a full heart of damage. John does get his last chance at the bomb there, so he is good to proceed. And Ugondis gets his static floor bomb drop there. So you see John dodging that last keys there. He probably has his count set up the way he wants him to maximize the chance for a 5 rupee drop here. He does get one of them, so he'll only need 4 more rupees before playing money making game. And similar to race number 1, it looks like he's going to come out of here with a slight lead over Ugondis. Out the Aquamentus, who remains boss at level 1, second quest as well, and he picks up his Triforce with Ugondis just a couple of rooms behind. Out of level 1, both racers are going to be going for the Power Bracelet. Again, it's a requirement in second quest, unlike first quest, because it is where level 4 is hidden behind the push block spot. And after the Power Bracelet, we'll be going into level 2, where the difficulty will ramp up a little bit. Both an optional manhandler fight if you want a faster key, and then a Gliok fight at the end of it. Room here, give those. As we saw last race, it's not difficult as long as you don't touch them, but it is time consuming because of all the stabs they take with the wooden sword. Because the bomb counts are low for both runners, you don't want to drop bombs here, you kind of need them later on, so unless you have a force set up, it's safer to just take the extra time to stab him down. I'm grabbing this key there. It's one of those rooms where you might not notice there's a bomb wall before until you get into the chute from the other side and you see there's just a key there you can't pick up. Keys you into the fact that there is option there. Ugondis does get some nice bomb drops there. Because John only has one bomb, he's not going to try that Manhandla because a bomb is required for a wall later in this level. So if you lose a bomb there, the time loss is just too much. So it's a better choice to get an extra key later on. Ugondis with 7 bombs, I'm going to say we will likely see him go for the Manhandla key. See if Manhandla cooperates. If Manhandla doesn't, then it's not a big deal, you just move on. Well, with only 1 heart, it gets more dangerous. We'll see. He does try for it. And Manhandla cooperates quite nicely, even gives him a fairy. You'd probably still want to see the bombs there because you're unlikely to take a heart of damage going through the rest of these rooms, but it is some extra time Ugondis makes up there for having that key. So Ugondis in really good shape here, picking up his recorder. John using the bomb for that wall. You see him, he was hoping that the Dark Nut was going to turn down into it and maybe drop a bomb, but there is a static bomb later on in this level that he can go for. And there's still a few rooms behind here. John just going to go ahead and look for the static bomb, I think, because clearing those Gibdos, although they are bomb droppers, again, it's very time consuming and you're not guaranteed to actually get anything for the effort you put in. You want to clear this room carefully though, because you do have a Gliop fight coming up next. Save all the health you can get for that. I'm just going to use some bombs to clear this up. Uses 3. Unfortunately, he isn't able to clear the entire room, so he's going to only net 1 bomb out of this. Meanwhile, John does have beams going into this fight, which is great to see. It makes it a lot easier. This runner's on 2 hearts now, though. Both got to be careful. John gets through cleanly. I'm just down to 3 more stabs. And also a very nice fight. Both runners making their way through level 2. Nicely done on each side. John this time does have enough money to play the money-making game, so he's going to up A right here without needing to farm anything this time. So yeah, close run to start up. Great to see. You see taking those sword stabs again. And if you weren't here for the first race, what this does is it sets up your frame your frame specifically so that you know where the 50 is going to be here. So you see he was pretty sure he was going to get the plus 50 there. And the nice thing about this manip is it lets you have a chance of the second 50 here if you get the re-entry, and he does get it. Very nice. As Ugondis heads over to level 6 here in the graveyard. And what he's going to be doing here is, this is the level where you're going to need to double dip. Since he can't kill the boss of this level, which is a Goma, he's just going to be grabbing the ladder and then dipping out. That ladder is very nice because it allows you to get some keys on the route you otherwise wouldn't be able to, so it saves more time to do this double dip than it would if you tried to do some other route. On with some nice 50s there again. It's a good money-making game, as Ugondis is picking up his ladder. And he got through cleanly, which is nice to see. I'm just going to be picking up the potion, and as we saw in last race, it's a very important thing to do in second quest. As you're going to some really tough levels on low health, and it can save you minutes if things go wrong. I'm just doing his world wrap and going to level 3. And as we saw from last race, this is the easiest level in second quest. Not much in the way of combat. It's a nice place to refill your bombs. As John is heading to level 6 to pick up his ladder. So on only 3 hearts here, he's got to be careful, because we've got only 1 blue Wizrobe hit to spare here. Does a nice job getting through that first room. He did go north, I'm not sure. I thought he was maybe just opening that bomb to save him the trouble of doing it later. Maybe just a little bit off route there. As Ugondis is clearing out the wall masters here. And we'll just have a nice, easy Orange Korea room as the boss of level 3. John does manage to avoid taking any Wizrobe off, so he gets his ladder. No problem. And is going to go ahead and get the key before leaving this level. Yeah, it's unlucky there with the orange Wizrobe spawn where he takes 2 hits, and because you're likely to take another hit going to grab that key, it's faster just to up A at that point rather than take the death. So Ugondis is going to be making his way to the White Sword again, opening level 4 along the way, just so he doesn't have to backtrack and do that on the way back. And as we saw, getting the White Sword before level 4, very important, because there are some very difficult combat rooms in here. So Ugondis is playing the exact same route he did last time. John, I think, didn't go quite the full money-making game this time, but let's see if that changes anything. Ugondis picking up the White Sword. Blue Lionel trolled him a little bit on the way in, but no problem leaving. And because he got the manhandler key before, you'll see he's going to go ahead and skip the room to the left. The key to the left in level 4 is super annoying if you don't have beams, because there's bubbles in there in close quarters, and it can end up taking up a lot of time. So nice to be able to skip that. Almost comes out of there with full health, but does take an unfortunate fireball pop, as John's going to go ahead and do his level 3. And hopefully the dongos are nice to him, because he's only got a couple bombs to spare here. This is clipped into a block in this room. You can't see it, but it is a very safe strategy. As you can see, none of the dark nuts can touch him. So he's able to just sit in there and get free stabs on them. John's able to refill all his health and making his way to the Triforce in level 3, as Ugondis does a nice job of clearing out that dark room without taking any damage. Ugondis with another of these combat rooms. This one isn't so difficult, health or dodging wise, but it is one of those ones that eats up quite a bit of time. But pretty much any key that's on the route you're going to have to take, even if it is a little bit time consuming. Question in chat about what is Second Quest Swiss. So the Battle for Hyrule tournament here that's going on is a multi-category tournament. And there were 4 different categories you could enter. You could do First Quest, any percent no AP, First Quest 100%, Swordless, or Second Quest. And this is the Second Quest portion of the tournament. And there were 6 entrants, so we're just doing a Swiss for this tournament. So Swiss is the style of it. And this is the 1-1 bracket. So both of these runners have 1 win and 1 loss. And we're playing this race to see who ends up going 2-1. Second Quest, a very different run than First Quest. The way it feels, there's a lot more dodging, less required combat early, but I'd argue it's actually quite a bit more difficult early, despite less combat. John, you see, heading up here to grab his blue ring. That comes in handy the rest of the run. Blue ring basically doubles your defense, so anything that would deal 2 hearts of damage, for example, will only do 1 from this point forward. Ugondis full health going into the rest of this level, and if you haven't seen this before in Second Quest, this is the biggest troll, I think, in the run, or if you're playing it casually, is that you don't want to just pick up the Triforce there, you actually have to walk through the wall behind it in order to pick up your required raft behind 3 more combat rooms. Triple Dodongo room here. As you can see, this is the one that gave John trouble last time, where you're shuttered in here, so you do not want to run out of bombs. That's why he's being so careful about where he's trying to place his bombs here. And he does get 2, nice. If you stab 2 that were smoked at the same time, you see they only drop 1 bomb, but that's not going to be a problem here, as he is able to leave with 8 bombs. The reward, of course, is the toughest combat room in this level, where you have the Bull's Voice just bouncing around all over the place, and very close quarters combat with blue Dark Nuts. And a very nice job clearing this out. As you can see, the tricky thing is the Bull's Voice can jump through the blocks, so you've got to be careful. You've got to keep your eye on them the entire time while trying to outmaneuver the Dark Nuts. But like the first race, Ugondis has a great level 4, so he's going to be able to pick up his raft and get out of here without any further trouble. Meanwhile, because that Manhandla, he only had 1 bomb going into it, he does go ahead and pick up the key to the left here, before proceeding to the rest of the level the same way Ugondis did. Some nice health drop on the Dig Dogger there. Having beams going into this first Dark Room combat is really nice. See, he's being extra careful here to not take a hit. Hoping maybe for a bomb drop, but game does not give him that luck. As you can see, start of the combat there, just letting those beams fly. And does get some bomb drop here, so is an option to use drop bombs, yeah. Lucky with a couple misses there. Does get 1 there. Probably wants to conserve bombs at this point just to be safe for the triple Dodongo room and stab this one. Ugondis, meanwhile, making his way into level 8. And as we saw in the first race, no required items to pick up here because it's just the wand and the Iniki. So it's just a matter of mostly dodging a lot of these rooms he's going through and picking up the Triforce at the end. Some of these Guri rooms are similar to the first quest level 7, where you don't need to fight them, you just need to make your way around them. But plenty of health on this route, so shouldn't encounter too many issues, and full health out of Dig Dogger are looking pretty good. As we see in a lot of these rooms, is a lot of the story of Second Quest is Don't want to fight things if you don't have to, but it is very tricky. So many of these rooms, trying to get through them without taking any damage. These runners are making it look pretty easier than it is for sure, and they're both accomplished runners in this category. Both of them actually have PBs set in races, which is pretty cool. It's always fun to see. So Ugondis heading into yet another triple Dodongo room, the final one of the run. It's looking good. John, as you see here, being extra careful, making sure what happened last time doesn't happen again. He's going to go ahead and pick up the static floor bomb here, so that he has plenty of bombs going into the triple Dodongo room in level 4. And it's kind of like a little insurance investment, right? Where it's not necessarily required that he would have had to do that, but you spend a little bit of extra time here, and it saves you from spending a lot of time if you do run out of bombs in that room. It's an unfortunate red bubble bop, so you just need to backtrack to get the blue bubble. I'm just finishing up, grabbing the only large secret in second quests. So, as mentioned before, you're more familiar with Rando. As you know, there's only one large secret, and that comes from the vanilla quest here. And that's all the money he's going to need, because that'll allow him to purchase the arrows for the bow he's able to pick up in level 5. I'm making nice work of that Dig Dogger. And have at least 5 bombs going to the triple Dodongo room. Again, that's why you wanted to backtrack, because if you do want to double bomb the Dig Dogger, then you don't want to have only 1 bomb going in there. Nice smoke of the first one, so should be go okay from here, as Ugondis does enter level 5. Fireball Bop does take away the bomb drop for Dodongo number 2. It's the third one, no problem. So as we're seeing, his reward is this combat room, again, where he's got some bombs to play with if he wants. As Ugondis is making his way into an also tricky combat room, the blue Wizrobe staircase, where he's just going to be letting bombs fly here, trying to do as much damage as possible before having to fall back to the white sword for the rest of the cleanup. Clearing out all the dark nuts just has one less Bull's Voice to deal with, as Ugondis is finishing off his last blue Wizrobe. Picking up the bow, this is an optional up A, whether or not the runner wants to do it or not. By not up Aing, you both conserve health and are able to pick up an extra key off of the Goma up above. Whereas up Aing is a faster decision, but you need to grab the other key somewhere else and have to be comfortable getting through the rest of this level on only 3 hearts. John picks up Triforce in level 4. This did go better for him than last time, where he had to restart the level, but still had Ugondis was able to open a bit of a lead because John did need to backtrack for those extra bombs. I'm just going to ahead and walk after the clip. That clip is difficult both ways, just squishing to the left there, because it's one of those things where if you're more familiar with First Quest, you just don't have a lot of practice doing that clip, so it's a difficult one to hit, especially in a race situation. So Ugondis making his way through this level 5. This is another one of those levels where there's quite a few Wizrobe rooms here. It's a bit of a gauntlet where you just, again, you don't want to fight them, but boy is it difficult to dodge them. And smart taking potion there, because as soon as you're down to 2 hearts, a single blue Wizrobe touch or beam will take you out. So that's what the potion is for. It's not even that big of a deal if you use both charges prior to level 7 or level 9, because you can route in a second one. It takes time, of course. It takes quite a bit more time than the first potion, but it's one of those insurance things where it's better to be safe than sorry. Very nice manhandler there on Ugondis' side. John making his way to level 8. We're going to have 4 bombs going into this triple Dodongo room. Right on the edge of comfortable. You want to be careful with your placement, and very nice bomb placement there, where it does get the bomb from one of them. We'll be leaving with full bombs, which is great, because you do want as many as possible for that blue Wizrobe room we saw Ugondis clear before the bow. Being able to just let the bombs fly is both faster and significantly safer than trying to white sword stab all those Wizrobes. So pickups for the Triforce on both sides here. Ugondis is going to go ahead and do the Rucorda trick again, which is the fastest way to get back to level 6. As we saw before, the first time through level 6 for both of these runners, because they didn't have bow and arrows, they were unable to complete the level, because the boss of the level is Agoma. So now with the bow and arrows, all we need to do is do another one of these dodging Wizrobe gauntlets, and get to the end with enough health such that you're able to take out the Goma. In some of these rooms, like that room there with the key, you're basically guaranteed to take a point of damage. You can try and be fancy and dodge around, but it's much more likely that not only is it slower, but you're probably going to take quite a few more beams. Whereas if you just hold left, you'll take the one orange Wizrobe touch and be out of there. John headed to his fun blue Wizrobe room now. See him tap down and drop a bunch of bombs. By doing that first move down, you can see you get with one bomb, you're able to hit blue Wizrobes on both the middle and bottom layers. So that's very nice room. That's textbook of how you want to be able to do that. Where with just a minimal number of bombs, he was able to clear out the entire room. Ugondis headed towards the two-headed Leok here in level 6. White Sword is able to make quick work of that. As you see, both runners having trouble with that clip, and that's understandable because, again, it's just one that you do not get much practice in. So this Goma fight, the blue Goma, it takes 3 wooden arrows, and blue Goma can, or any Goma can go left, can go right, or can go down at the start. It's just RNG which pattern he gives you. And for all 3 patterns, it is possible to one-cycle him and get all 3 shots in before he closes his eye. But the patterns to the left and right are more difficult, and it's quite tricky to pull off, so a 2-cycle is quite common there. John just barely missing the 1-cycle there. As Ugondis is going to go ahead and pick up his final heart for required 12 for the magical sword. These last hearts and the magical sword itself are quite a bit out of the way for any of the other levels. I believe I've seen Chickles say it takes about 90 extra seconds to pick up the magical sword compared to not, and that's factoring in the combat time saves you get from it. Especially in a race situation where safety is paramount and taking a death can be the difference between a win and a loss, picking up the magical sword is a smart decision. As we saw, there's going to be 3 Blue Lagoon combat rooms in level 7, and then a couple of required Patra fights in 9, plus potentially weird Ganon spawns in level 9. That magical sword makes everything significantly safer. Nice manhandler for John. He's going to be making his way into the Gleeok fight soon, as Ugondis enters level 7. See that room where if you get the Master Fire there, they all disappear. And I've kind of nicknamed that one in my head, the Room of No Drops, which play on, I believe, it's either Coper or Darkwing Duck named that in level 6 of Fire Room that doesn't like to drop anything. But I swear, that room seems to just, both in my own races and the races I've watched, just never drops anything for some reason. John does make quick work of that Gleeok and is going to be able to head to level 6 next. As Ugondis has a pretty good manhandler there and will be making his way into the first Blue Lagoon with 7 bombs to spare. Chat. Sorry, I missed the context of your question there about how much of that is RNG. I'm not sure which room you're referring to. Super fast Blue Lagoon one there for Ugondis. That's a beautiful room. And you see there is the pattern of the Blue Goma going down, and Ugondis is able to take it down in one cycle. This room here on Ugondis' side, that's another one where it's tricky because you just need to get to the door, right? You don't need to fight anything, but boy is it difficult to get there without taking damage. The one bombing manhandler is almost entirely RNG. No matter how good of a runner you are, you can take your time and try and place the bomb as carefully as you can, and it can still just move the other way and completely troll you. So it's not pure RNG in the sense that you can be smart about where you place the bomb, but even if you place it as perfectly as possible, you're still only giving yourself a percentage chance of it playing nice. Yeah, that's a cool ladder clip if you haven't seen it before, where you're able to move across multiple tiles of water. Ugondis had a great Blue Lagoon 2 and is going into Blue Lagoon 3 here with full health and 5 bombs to spare. Because this room does drop a bomb, you're free to use all your bombs if you want. Does get some cleaning with those initial bombs, and it looks like he's just going to go ahead and sword and roast these to clean up. John picks up his Triforce out level 6, as Ugondis will shortly be picking up his level 7 Triforce and be qualified to enter level 9. Just about a level difference between these two runners at this point. John just looks like he will be picking up his magical sword this time, but prior to entering level 7, as he does grab the heart container there. There's not as much of a time difference as last race. In fact, I'd say it's about half the time difference this time, so he does have time to pick up this magical sword, and if Ugondis does have any trouble in level 9, he will be able to make up some time there. Thank you, Luminar. I appreciate the kind words from chat. So Ugondis pulls off the second recorder of this run, and again, this is the fastest way to get to level 9, because as you can see, it takes you straight up here, which is significantly faster than any of the normal recorder spots you can head out to. So level 9, like level 7, is going to have some required combat rooms here, and the magical sword will make it safer, but it's still definitely not easy. It is one of those things, because we're watching two really good runners, it sometimes doesn't come across how difficult a lot of this combat actually is until you go ahead and try it yourself. Because there's definitely some quirks to the movement system in this game, and it's not nearly as easy as they're making it look. Very fortunate clock drop in here allows Ugondis to clean up the Silver Arrow rooms very quickly as johntabin heads into level 7 with his magical sword now. So with full health here, Ugondis almost certainly not going to up A. It's just going to go ahead and walk this one out. On heading into his final required manhandler fight. So if this one goes wrong, it's not as disastrous as the other one because you do have the magical sword. He gets it with one bomb, but unfortunately it takes a hit before it's able to drop a bomb. So he won't have too many spare bombs for combat here, but will have magical sword, of course, to be able to do 4 points of damage for Darknut. Ugondis in a nice safe spot in the door there. You can see that even if the Landmola comes right in his face, the Landmola will not take damage. But Ugondis is able to do damage to it. John making quick work of this Blue Lagoon 1. Showcasing magical sword damage there, not even needing to use bombs. Nearly 1 cycle Goma. 2 is going to be heading to Blue Lagoon 2 through this staircase. So Ugondis looking to be in pretty good shape there. You see him tanking the blue Wizro beam. That's the fastest way to get through that room. There is a safe strat there where you can just hang out in the door and be pretty sure you're not going to take damage, but with nearly full health and the potion charge in tow, going ahead and just taking the beam to the face, not the worst thing. On entering the most dangerous of the Blue Lagoons here. So as you can see, very close quarters combat, nice fairy drop. Again, the fastest strategy is to just sit in the center there and just blow everything away as he is. It's not the safest strategy, of course, because they're going to be turning into you constantly and doing quite a bit of damage, but it's through there nice and quick. On this in the final combat room prior to Ganon. Again, it's one of the meanest rooms in the game. It's an expanding Patra with a couple of turrets shooting at you the entire time. So you can use the turrets to your advantage, where you see he'd much rather take a turret fireball, which only does half a heart of damage, instead of a Patra, which does 2. I would go ahead and potion here before the Ganon fight, just because one Ganon Hug does deal 4 parts of damage. He's going for it, though. And gets the nice stun lock on the left side there, so very well done for Ugondis. John finishes up level 7, grabs his Triforce. Ugondis is going to be rescuing the princess, and get your GGs out for Ugondis, who finishes with an official time of 38:36. That is a fantastic run for a second quest in a no reset situation. Anything below 40 minutes is fantastic for sure. So big GG to Ugondis, who will be finishing this category with a 2-1 record. Ugondis' PB, I believe, is a low 37. He doesn't have it submitted to the leaderboard yet. It happened in the race. So I think that's a really great run, where it's just maybe a little bit more than a minute off of his PB. And second quest, Deathless, just by itself, that's quite the achievement. John's going to be making his way into level 9 now, going for his silver arrows. That transition room there is probably one of the most difficult ones not to get hit in level 9. I just assume I'm going to take at least one Wizrobe Bop, if not two, going through there. Also gets a very nice clock. It will make quick work of this room, and like Ugondis, going to have full health leaving it. We are joined by our race runner, Ugondis. GG.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much.
Saying those were a couple of very nice runs. Very clean throughout, minimizing the mistakes. How do you feel about that?
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, other than like Ganon, Ganon got away from me on that first run.
Yeah.
And I had a manhandling 5 on the first run too that just wouldn't. Well, I had no sword, and I was like debating using the potion. Like I should have just used it right away, but I was like, no, I can get further without using the potion. But yeah. Yeah. Other than that, it seemed like things were. Yeah, it seemed like things were okay.
Yeah. That second Ganon fight in particular was impressive, because that's a really weird spawn where he spawns like halfway in the wall there, so to be able to pick that up with only 3 hearts, or at the most, I forget exactly the heart count, but it was well done.
Yeah, that second time through 9 on that first run, I've never done it on just 3 hearts, so like I was like, I walk in 9, I'm like, is there something I should leave? I'm like, nah, just go. We'll just, you're 2 out of 3, just go. See if you can press yourself. And like, I didn't take a hit the whole way. And there's that one, what's it called? Not pointless moat, but anyways, there's a room with Wizrobes and waffles in there that, like, usually
the
mess
Chevy
me up
room,
really
probably.
bad. Yeah, Chevy, that's it. Yeah, Chevy room. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was very clutch in level 9, because John actually skipped Magical Sword on the run because he had fallen behind. He got unlucky. You might have seen it in level 4 where the triple Dodongos just trolled him and he got stuck shuttered in there with 0 bombs. So that's what went wrong there. So he definitely tried to put the pressure on late by skipping Magical Sword and just doing a White Sword level 7. So he would have been right in there with level 9 with you if something had gone wrong the second time.
Yeah, that room in 4 is where, like, my heart pounds a little bit. Okay, we got to get into the Dongo room. You cannot leave here without bombs. Yeah, that's a tough one. I've definitely died in there too many times.
Yeah. John making his way through the Patra here, just down to a heart and a half. Got one more Patra and again a fight to go.
All right.
Does not have a potion, so he's got to be careful in these last couple of rooms.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice fairy. And particularly nice fairy because that was a forced fairy, so he was been smart setting up his count there. Unlucky with the Patra. He clears all those and doesn't get the one that controls the expanding, so he takes a couple of extra hits there.
That last Patra is such a... Sometimes I get through there and I just sword right and I boom right through, and then 90% of the time you take quite a few. Yeah. And then if a fireball comes just at the right time and you miss it, and then
Oh, walks just a little bit too far to the left there. And catches him. So he will forfeit there, but get your GGs out for John as well, because that was a very clean run up until the end there. Level 9, definitely a difficult run without the potion, even with the rain. And we are now joined by John as well. GG's John, as talking to Ugondis about some tough luck in that level 4, especially race 1 with the triple Dodongo room.
Yep.
But
GG, John.
Other than that, very clean runs.
I think your mic's muted, John, if you can hear us.
It looks like John might need to hold his mic a bit.
Oh yeah, I'm the king of mic issues. I totally understand. That's something wrong with mine all the time.
Yeah, Discord was not being nice to me either.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully had a fun tournament so far. Second quest is definitely an interesting challenge. I learned it myself for this tournament, so
Nice.
it's quite a run.
Oh yeah, it's different, especially when you take the harder routes like you do. I try to take a safer route compared to what you and Antlers will do too.
It's funny. I kind of actually find the first half of it more dangerous than the second half, especially on low health. So. But we are now joined by John, who I think has his mic issue sorted out.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. I have the
GG, John.
thing checked, I think. Yeah, and GG Ugondis. Congrats on third place.
Thanks, John.
You hear me?
Appreciate it. Yep.
You guys can hear me now? Good. All right. So the first race, the first race was kind of all over the place. I didn't get any. I didn't get money in the level 1 and 2, which is kind of rare. So I had to farm on the overworld to get to the money-making game, and then I loved the money-making game, and I mixed up my route a bit because I did an extra round of MMG, so I bought the candle and then the arrows right away. Usually I get the candle and the money, and then the wrap. But I still wanted to get a blue ring in both races. I considered changing the strat up, but I figured, I've been doing this race route the whole tournament. I might as well stick with it because most people haven't seen a blue ring second quest route, so wanted to show it off. Even though I knew Ugondis was probably favorite coming in. So yeah, second race went a little better. It was fun, but yeah, that was kind of a whim in the first race to just skip Magical Sword, and it went okay. It's Ugondis was done by the time about the time I finished 7th. So, and then once the Zola Fireball hit me, I'm like, okay, let's go on to game 2. But,
Yeah, we thought it was a cool decision, comms, because if Ugondis did take a second death there, then you would have been right in there in 9 with him.
Yeah. I considered just going world record route if I got the resources in 1, but that never happened, so I wasn't the victim of my own ambition in that sense.
Yeah, I've done White Sword only. I've done like close to the route, and I do know the money making game, but like it's too likely to mess up. And I just started doing this route, and I just stuck to this route, and I'm like, man, I can hit a 37 in a race. Like that's in the hunt if I can hit a 37, and so that's why I just stuck with this one.
Yeah, very nicely done there.
Yep.
And as I mentioned, I believe you both made PBs in races, which is cool to see. So, any final thoughts from both of you? Because this will be the second to final last race of Second Quest, and the final one for both of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad we got to do Second Quest in this tournament. I know the 2019 multi-category tournament, everyone had to do the categories, and I know some people in the admin team at that time wanted to do Second Quest, but they were wildly outvoted, and so it's been. We don't get to race this very often. So even though only 6 people came in, I thought it'd be good to have just a small section, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Ugondis, big competitor. It's good to see you improving this category, putting time into it, and I had fun.
Yep, I had a great time too, and once again, I say it every time, but I mean it. Thank you so much to the Restreams. Thank you so much to John, Yumi, the people who are working behind and everything. If you do the same tournament next year, I just want to put a vote in for a TDO next time. I definitely love that run. So, but thanks for doing Second Quest. Obviously, that's my favorite run. So I had a great time doing it.
And the finals in Second Quest are between Captain Green and Answers, and that is, what'd you guys say, 9 something?
Yeah, it's going to be 9:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
All right.
I think we have that over on some of the speed gaming channels. We do have a race later this week here on Speedrun, here on ZeldaSpeedRuns. I think it's Captain Green, or I think the Cantaloupe, just blue semifinals here. Other things are in on speed gaming. The later night ones are in speed gaming because CSR has trouble with night stuff. Really appreciate all the help from CSR. And thanks for coming in on comms, Captain Green. It's kind of a struggle since there's relatively few people know Second Class. I'm always worried about getting comms for my own races, but managed to do this one. So, I should say tonight on Speed Gaming we have Wyman's Japanese versus Cantaloupe during their 100% LFA. Semi-final that's coming up, I think, in about an hour, 20 minutes. So, one of the Speed Gaming channels has probably been assigned, but I don't know off the top of my head yet which one. But I'm sure you'll find it. And I think that'll do it for us. We'll be ready to throw back to Lindsay Slacker.
Yeah, I think so. So GG's again to both racers. Thank you for putting on a great race, and I'll go ahead and toss it over to VT to take us out.
Yep, and again, give our runners johntabin and Ugondis a follow for the show they put on today. Also, show some love to our commentator, Captain Green, for the great commentary. Stay tuned to the ZSR Network for more from the Battle of Hyrule 2, because we actually have an 80% race on Wednesday between Antlers and the Dr. Blue. So we have that for you on Wednesday. We also have the grand finals from the Majora's Mask Randomizer Zora Easter Tournament later this week. But I'm going to pass you over to Crick East, who's doing some Zelda 1 speedrunning practice themselves, so give them some love. So see y'all next time.